Welcome to Across the Globe. Today we will learn about setting up user registration. User registration is essential in web development to enable users to create accounts and access personalized content. Flask, a widely used web framework for Python, simplifies the implementation of user registration features. By utilizing Flask's built-in functionalities, developers can streamline the process of setting up registration forms, handling user input, storing user data securely in databases, and implementing user authentication mechanisms. This not only enhances the user experience but also ensures that user information is managed effectively. For instance, a news website using Flask can allow users to register for personalized news alerts, store their preferences, and provide a seamless login experience to access exclusive content. This enhances user engagement and loyalty while also offering relevant content based on individual preferences. In conclusion, leveraging Flask for user registration in web development amplifies the user experience and establishes a robust foundation for personalized interactions. To set up user registration in Flask, verify that Flask is installed on your system. Flask can be easily installed using pip, a package manager for Python. Open your command line interface and type pip install Flask to install Flask. Once Flask is successfully installed, you can proceed with setting up the user registration functionality in your Flask application. This ensures that the necessary framework is in place to handle user registration seamlessly. To create a new Flask app, you need to start by importing the Flask module. This can be done in Python by using the statement from Flask import Flask. Once the module is imported, you should initialize the Flask application by creating an instance of the Flask class. This can be achieved by executing app equals Flask or name. This ensures that a new Flask app is created using the name of the module. For instance, in a hypothetical scenario where you intend to develop a web application to manage a bookstore, you can follow these steps to initialize a new Flask app. By importing the Flask module and initializing an instance of the Flask class as shown above, you can subsequently proceed to define routes, add functionalities, and create templates within your Flask application to cater to the specific requirements of the online bookstore management system. To create a user registration form with Flask-WTF, you need to define a class that inherits from Flask form. Within this class, you define fields like username and password using string field and password field from the WTF forms module, respectively. These fields can have validators such as data required to ensure these fields are not submitted empty. Finally, include a submit field to let users submit the form. This form will enable CSRF protection and perform form validation to enhance security and data integrity within your Flask application. For instance, considering a scenario where a new user wants to register on a website, they would enter their desired username and password in the form fields provided. Upon submission, the form would ensure that both fields are filled out before proceeding. This validation process prevents incomplete data from being processed, ensuring that user information is reliably captured. To handle user registration in a Flask app, you can create a route using the @app.route decorator with the URL /register and methods set to get and post. Within the route function, initialize a form instance, such as registration form. Validate the form submission with form.validateOnSubmit. If the form is valid, you can implement the logic to create a new user and store the user data in the database. Finally, return a message indicating successful user registration. If the form is not valid or is being loaded for the first time, render the registration form template register.html along with the form. For instance, when a user navigates to /register URL to sign up on a website, a registration form will be displayed. Upon submission with valid details, the user will be added to the database, confirming successful registration. Otherwise, the same registration form will be shown until the user provides accurate information and successfully registers. To create a user model in your database using SQL Alchemy, define a class named user that inherits from db.model. Within the user class, specify attributes such as ID, username, and password using db.column. Utilize db.integer, dstring primary key equals true and unique equals true in the db.column definitions for ID and username. Ensure nullable equal false for username and password attributes to enforce data integrity. Example, Python from Flask School Alchemy, import b equals SQL Alchemy, class user db.model, id equal db.column, db.db.integer, primary key equals true, username equals db.column, db.string 50, unique equals true, nullable equals false, password equals column, db, nullable false. By incorporating this user model into your Flask application, you can store user information efficiently in your database. This structure allows for secure storage of user credentials such as usernames and passwords, enabling secure authentication processes within your application. To initialize and migrate the database using Flask Migrate, import the Migrate class from Flask Migrate. Then create a Migrate instance by passing in your Flask application app and the database instance DB. For example, assuming you have a Flask application named app and a database instance named DB, you can create a Migrate instance like this. Python from Flask Migrate, import migrate equals migrate app DB. By running the necessary commands provided by Flask Migrate, you can manage your database schema versions efficiently, making it easier to handle database migrations in your Flask application. To set up user registration in Flask, start by creating a form that collects user information. Next, handle the form submission by processing the data. Then, define a user model that stores user details like name, email, and password. Lastly, configure the database to store user information securely. For instance, a social networking site may implement user registration to allow visitors to create accounts. The registration form collects required details such as username, email, and password. Upon submission, the data is validated and saved in the database using the user model. This setup enables users to register and access personalized features on the platform. By following these outlined steps, you can seamlessly integrate user registration functionality into your Flask application. Setting up user registration is like creating a membership card for a gym. Just like how a gym requires personal information before giving out a membership card, a website needs user details before granting access. The membership card acts as a key for entry to the gym, while a login credential serves as a key for entering a website. Without the membership card, one cannot access the gym's facilities. Similarly, without a registered account, one cannot access the content. Hey Code Conquerors, ready to level up? With TechLearn ATG, showcase your skills with official course certificates. Just visit our site and start. Need that extra boost? Get tailored learning, 24/7 support, and expert guidance. Coding smarter, growing faster, and making learning fun. Go to our website across the globe, www.atg.world. This code snippet showcases setting up user registration using Flask for a web application. Similar to acquiring a membership card for a gym, users can register and log in to access the site's features. The registered users dictionary acts as a database to store user credentials. The /register route handles new user registrations by verifying the uniqueness of the chosen username and then updating the database with the username-password pair. On the other hand, the /login route authenticates users by matching the entered credentials with the data in the database. By running this Flask application, users can go through the user registration and login process, mirroring real-world scenarios where individuals create accounts to access online platforms. The analogy of setting up a user registration system like a gym membership adds a layer of conceptual understanding to the technical implementation. Industrial Example 1, E-commerce platform. Setting up user registration is crucial for e-commerce platforms. When a user wants to make a purchase, they need to create an account. This registration process collects important information such as shipping address, payment details, and order history. It allows users to track their orders, save items to a wish list, and provides personalized recommendations. Just like signing up for a loyalty program with an online retailer, user registration enables a seamless shopping experience for customers. Real-world application example 2, mobile banking app. In the context of a mobile banking application, user registration is fundamental for accessing financial services. Users create an account with their personal information, set up security measures like a PIN or biometrics, and link their accounts for transactions. Registration establishes trust through identity verification and allows users to securely manage their finances, transfer money, pay bills, and view transaction history anytime, anywhere. Similar to opening a bank account in a brick-and-mortar branch, user registration for a mobile banking app ensures secure access to financial resources. Closure statement. Across the globe, industries rely on efficient user registration processes to streamline access to services, enhance user experiences, and promote trust and security online. Whether it's for e-commerce platforms or mobile banking apps, setting up user registration is a cornerstone in providing personalized and secure user experiences. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next video.